Hey, this is Redban, and you're listening to the Death Squad Podcast Network. This episode of Muff Said and all the podcasts we do at Death Squad can always be found at deathsquad.tv and on iTunes and Stitcher under Death Squad. San Diego, we're coming to Comic-Con again. If you guys caught us last year, we went to the 2012 Comic-Con and we brought a bunch of comics like Joe Rogan, Jim Norton, Doug Benson. It was a huge party, and we are returning to the 2013 Comic-Con, and tickets just went on sale. July 19th and 20th, we have midnight shows on both of those days, Friday and Saturday at midnight. 2 shows. Tickets are on sale right now at AmericanComedyCo.com, or just go to DeathSquad.tv, and right at the front of the page you'll see Death Squad live shows, and get your tickets. Last year we sold that thing out like crazy. This year is going to be great, so get your tickets now. I'll have the full lineup when it gets closer to the date, so here's your chance to get it before they sell out. Also, if you're looking for the Death Squad t-shirt, go to shopsquad.tv. You have the limited edition t-shirt and stickers. The final print happened a long time ago, so once these stickers and t-shirts sell out of this design, it's gone forever, so here's your last chance. And now, here's a brand new episode.
Welcome everyone. Tonight things are going to be intimate, if you couldn't tell by the sexy music, because it is just the family. It is just myself, Ryan Keely, the sexiest man in video game development.
Hi, this is Nick.
Hey,
how you
Nick.
doing?
How you doing, Nick?
Oh, hey Brian, how you?
It's doing all right.
Oh, good.
Good. Well, tonight I'm going to let Nick and Aaron do something, Nick Ahrens and Brian Redban do something that they've always wanted to do, and I have never let them. It's going to get weird.
We're going to talk about trains for an hour.
Yeah.
big red train.
Yeah. They're like the coal ones. They're bad for the environment.
Actually, I have promised both of them an unfettered nerd out. No matter how hard they talk tech, I'm not going to interrupt.
If you listen to this show and you don't see the video, oftentimes Brian and I will nerd out and Ryan falls asleep instantly. Because Ryan's a nerd too, but we take it to a level of instant sleep for you, I think.
Well, you guys are tech nerds, and you start talking about
HDMI cords and refresh rates.
Yes, yes, and then I want to take a nap.
Right.
So Ryan's going to nap.
Yes.
And while she does that...
Well, let's talk about this beer first. Yeah, you poured us some beer,
good.
and this is like a celebration beer.
It is a celebration beer.
And that looks like...
what's it called?
Smell it. Tell me what your smell.
McKellar?
Wow, it smells really good.
The smell feel.
It smells like,
Beer.
I don't know, kind of fruity maybe? Or
Citrus, pine, with a complex earthy and woody undertones.
Some nuts.
all right,
There's
I'm not
some nuts in there.
I'm not digging it. Oh, man.
You're not digging it?
No.
Oh my God, that is weird.
It tastes like...
Damn
That
it.
to me.
It tastes like tires.
Okay, so this is...
That's why I liked it. I couldn't figure out why I liked it, but that makes sense now.
Yeah, it's tires.
This is the McKellar Invasion Farmhouse IPA. Bottled
It's okay.
with
Yeah.
Breadonomics?
Breadonomics?
No, Breadonomics.
Breadonomics?
Breadonomics. Okay, what does that say to you? Oh my God, it smells so good,
that's
but it
made up.
tastes so wrong.
Yeah.
What happens when a guy named Brett owns this company? Breadonomics? Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm not. It's too long to even type in.
That
my
was him
computer.
singing the opening song, guys.
I'm so disappointed with this beer because it cost me $13 for the large format bottle.
$13 for
$13.
I like how you said the large format
That's
bottle.
what it's called.
And
It's
we're
called
nerds.
a large format.
And we're nerds. What about a medium format beer?
That's what when it comes
It's
in the
for
big bottle, like a Chimay or a
$13
Duvel.
for a pint, basically.
Yeah, and it has
bar
words
pricing.
that make me buy beer, like farmhouse and complex and citrus notes, which basically means I'm going to give you all of my $13 instantly on the
Why
spot.
don't people ever try to advertise these kind of things with like the words like good, delicious?
Yeah, this is good beer, guys.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say.
No,
Miller,
it's not.
Good beer. Parentheses maybe.
So back when I was in beer school, we did a test called Island of Una Cerveza. And the theory is that if you were trapped in an island for 2 weeks, and what is the one beer that you would want to drink for the entire 2 weeks, and what is the one beer that you would refuse to drink, even if you were on a deserted island with no other alcohol for 2 weeks?
Ooh, geez. Well, if 2 weeks is definitely a different answer than like 2 years.
For sure.
Definitely.
You know?
2 weeks is a good answer, though, because you're like,
Yeah.
I won't get burnt out on this, so what is it?
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's a beer that, I'm going to mess this up, but it has a label as a shark on it. It's a California brew. And they do a couple different variations.
Oh.
I can
yeah,
always
yeah,
forget
yeah.
the name
Not
of it.
Longiditas.
but-
Longboard.
No, it's got like
No,
a...
it's oh, you're talking about Great White from
Might be Great
Gold
White.
Coast Brewery.
It might be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I picked that. They have like a citrusy summer ale.
Oh,
I'm
you
in
know,
for that.
I
I'm
know
in.
exactly what you're talking about.
No, it's not that. It's not the shark. It's fucking.
There's a shark on the label.
Yeah, it's not surf.
It's like we
It's
don't
a
even think
Lost
Google
Coast Brewery.
Oh fuck.
Great White from the Lost Coast Brewery. Is
Is
it
it?
this one?
It's not Shock Top, right? That's what I was thinking.
It is that one.
So
Yep,
this
that
is one of my favorite beers and one of my favorite breweries. So
not
Lost
Shark Top,
Coast Brewery is a very small brewery. It's up in either Eureka or Arcata, California, which is a small town 4 hours north of San Francisco.
I thought Eureka was in Portland or in Oregon.
There's also one in
Oh, that's
Northern
awesome.
California.
Eureka. I like
Yeah,
that.
there's a Eureka, California. And I guess it'll tell me on the internet exactly where it is. It is in Eureka, California, and I've been there many times because that's where my sister lives. And
It's so good.
it's spectacular.
It's almost not even beer because like a lot of, I think,
This is
everyone's
god-awful.
chugged a beer or two, but like really when you chug a beer, it's not quite as awesome as chugging like anything else. Like it's good, but it's just like, oh, it's just like
This
it's still
terrible.
beer.
It
But
is
when
terrible.
you chug that, what's the name of the shark beer? I'm just gonna call it shark beer. I think that's cool.
Great White.
Great White. Shark beer is pretty cool too. I've in a hot summer day that's just delicious.
See,
I'm not having
Put
the
this
adverse
beer away
reaction.
from you.
I'm thinking more of like
You can
if I
drink my
drink
beer.
any beer for a few days straight, then I'm just going to hate it. And so I'm thinking
Is
more.
that because you've puked so much of it up?
No, it's just like there's a lot of these really nice beers. They have like a taste to them, like and after I think a while, you just kind of get sick of that taste. Where like then you got the lighter beers where it's almost like you're drinking like Gatorade beer, you know,
Right.
where like you could just drink it and you won't get sick of the taste of it.
So I had a beer guru back in New York. I studied under Sam Merritt, who is the founder of Civilization of Beer. And he is a legit master cicerone. And his favorite session beer, which is a beer that he would just, if he was going to sit down, settle in, and drink a shit ton of beer, it was going to be MGD, Miller High Life.
That's what
the
my
champagne
that's
of
what
beers.
my
Really?
ans- that's what my answer was, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. My answer was Miller High Life because that is a beer that
I don't think I've ever had it.
It's
the champagne of beers.
It is. It's the best beer to drink nonstop and not even care.
So it's
what the-
smooth. It's
very
not heavy. It's the nice mixture of like light, but
Yeah.
Crisp.
Okay. All right.
It's
Crisp.
good.
All
And,
right.
yeah, so
Sweet but hoppy. It's a good balance. It's a well-balanced beer. And it's unskunkable.
Yeah.
Well, because I started drinking beer later in life. I didn't really drink it like in high school or anything like that. I kind of I built up the reputation of American beers being shitty had already been built up in my head, so I actively avoided them from the get-go. So I've never really tasted all those American brews.
Yeah.
I've had like Bud Light, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean Miller Lite is usually my go-to shitty beer, but because most places don't have Miller High Life, but High Life is just
Is it actually expensive? Like, is
No.
it
Oh,
no,
it's
no,
super cheap.
It's a cheap beer.
Interesting.
And it's smooth. That's what it is.
See, if I had to pick a cheap beer, I'd probably pick Corona.
Yeah, I was gonna say Corona's a good cheap beer
Yeah.
too, but after a while you get that Corona has a taste
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a little distinct, where High Life is more of like
Well,
know,
High
I-
Life is different than most other beers because most beers need to be stored in a dark brown bottle or a can because exposure to light will cause it to skunk, which means it'll change the chemical makeup of the beer for a unpleasant flavor. Miller High Life is the only beer that uses a very specific hop extract, so it's unskunkable, and which is why they sell it in those clear bottles.
Oh wow.
Wow.
It's
That's kinda cool.
scientifically superior.
And the bottle is like a nice little small wine bottle. It's like it's a real smooth.
You feel like a celebrity when you're drinking it.
No, you feel like a cheap ass, but
When I lived in the best bar special I have ever experienced, hands down, was when I was living in New Orleans. And there's a place called R Bar, as in the letter R in
Yeah,
the bar.
our bar's awesome.
And it was
I think you recommended the bartender there once.
no, that's the bartender
That's
Lafitte's.
Lafitte's. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Highly recommend that bartender. I think he's losing his hair now. But at our bar, they had it was a shot of Jameson and a Miller High Life for $5.
That's
That's a spectacular
by the
bar
way,
special.
So we have a couple brilliant game folks at our studio that are from Korea, and in Korea it's really popular to mix whiskey into the beer.
Really?
As one drink, yeah. Right. And we were out drinking, and they're like, "Oh, can I get whiskey and beer mixed together?" And I haven't tried this yet, but they both swear by it, saying, and they're very opposite dudes overall. One's an older guy, he's married, he's worked at universities and all this kind of stuff. The other guy's pretty young, like he's single, and he's recently out of college. He went to he was in Wisconsin, so they have kind of different lifestyles, but they both swear by this whiskey beer stuff.
Huh.
So I next time we go out as a company, I'm kind of excited to.
Yeah, but what are you
going
going to choose? Like Jack Daniels and
I'm going to have them pick it
Corona?
for me. Yeah. Well, hopefully not. Maybe
it?
step up to like Jameson at least.
Yeah, Jameson.
Someone just made me a michelada, and in the michelada they had they put in a shot of tequila along with the beer and the tomato sauce and the salt and all the lime juice.
I could see that being really good though.
It was delicious, and I got so wasted,
I was
my
gonna say
nipples got hard.
It's super strong. Yeah. A close friend of mine swears by sidecars. By the way, ever had those?
No.
They'll fuck you up. They will get you
Beer's
wasted.
fucking up my face every time I try
No,
to
do not drink
it.
this beer. It's terrible. Give it to Nick Ahrens because he doesn't care about it.
Which is weird because it's kind of bitter, and I usually don't like that.
I know. I got this beer because I'm a huge fan of the farmhouse style beer or ale. It's one of my favorite things. Farmhouse and saisons and anything that's like funky, wild, yeasty, chewy. And this was like a farmhouse IPA, and I was like, beer is going to be amazing. And this is worse than the green tea beer that we had.
Oh, I don't know about.
No, I don't know about
I think that might be
that.
the worst I've ever had in my life.
That was pretty bad.
I think we need to create for this show. We've been talking about having a board.
beer list.
Yeah,
we should have
so
a ratings, like a 1 to 5.
we should get on the site, get like a beer rating.
All right, I give this one a 2 out of 5.
This is the Mikkeller Invasion Farmhouse IPA. You know what? I want to get one of those boards like they have on Top Gear, where it's where we can move
Star
things
in the
down.
reasonably priced car. Yep.
Yeah, and if something's better than something we like, or something's like worse than something we like, we can just rearrange it. With,
I like that.
I think that's what's
The
gonna
best
happen.
part about that on Top Gear, probably one of the biggest like internationally budgeted shows now out there, is it's just magnetic strips on a piece of metal.
And marker.
Yeah, and marker.
With Jeremy Clarkson's handwriting.
Yeah, exactly. Like shitty handwriting. Yeah.
Oh, Top
So
Gear.
he gave it a 2 out of 5. What would you get? Two out of 5 beers. How many out of beers do you give it?
And the green tea just for
2 out of 5?
was
Is
a
that
one.
is that our scale right now?
Yeah, one being the worst.
I think that this is worse than the green tea beer.
Wow.
So you're gonna give it a 1.
I'm giving this a 1.
You can give it a 0. You can give.
I'm giving it a 0. Fuck
Zero-
this beer.
zero's fine.
All right, then if it's a 0,
I
then
would
I'd
rather
do 1.
drink Bud Light than this. And Bud Light for years has been in the island or the Isle of Uno Cerveza has been my answer because I hate Bud Light. Passionately.
I'll give it a 2.
Zero.
Give it a 2.
All right, I give it a
Negative
1.
1.
I give it a 1, and I give green tea 0.
The green tea's getting a 0.
Since I last saw you guys, I actually had an adventure. I went to San Diego and had a show, and then I tripped on mushrooms and swam with dolphins.
Oh,
What?
And
What?
You lived your dream.
Yeah.
You're done.
And I was licking the dolphin at this picture. I mean,
The dolphin looks excited about you being with the dolphin.
It was crazy. And I guess they should not have started the whole thing out. It was like, all right, you're going to kiss the dolphin on the cheek. And I thought I had like some kind of powers at one point. And I mean, just all my faces, like, you probably can't see this in here, but my faces in all the photos are
For
just
those
like
of you that are just
extreme
listening,
crazy.
Are you finger pointing?
He's got extreme excitement in all of these pictures.
You
It's
look like the
extremely
happiest kid in the
excited face.
world.
Oh, I thought this.
Look at how excited you are.
I thought the mushroom was a hot dog.
There's you could take your head, you could take your head, cut it off, and put it like on a kid opening a present at Christmas. It's the same expression.
Oh, you don't understand. It was the greatest thing, and it's at SeaWorld, and if you pay, I think it's only like $200 or something like that. Whatever it is, 100% worth it. It was probably the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life, and I think even if I was not on mushrooms, it still would be.
You were on mushrooms while you played with dolphins?
Dude, I was
What?
I was not only on mushrooms, I was peaking on mushrooms. I ate it an hour before. I only ate a cap which is usually you have a couple caps, a couple stems, and whatever. I just had one cap thinking that would be just like a mild version of it. No, I had some really crazy mushrooms because that shit scared the fuck out of me. And then at one point you actually got to get on the dolphin's back and ride it around the pool as if it was like a jet ski.
Did they take these photos, or do you have somebody come with you and take photos for you?
I actually, they have a thing where you can like pick photos, like this guy just takes photos of you the whole time, or you can get the whole CD of all the photos for like I think $80. So I just like fuck that.
You gotta have the photos.
Yeah, this is great.
So is this one of those experiences where you just cast off like all give a shits about like ego and all those things, and you're just in it to win it? Like it's just the dolphin and you the whole time.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a whole story about what happens.
Oh, that's a good expression.
There's a whole story of, that I could tell you, but it's just a long story. But what one thing is that at first I thought that maybe we were just going to go out to this pool that's right next to the locker room and just walk and go lay and hang out with the dolphins. But what happened is that no, that was just like some like training pool that you have to walk all the way through SeaWorld in this wetsuit around everybody.
And they're all just wandering
they're
around.
All like, everyone's just like staring at you like, what the fuck are these people doing? And you're very subconscious in a wetsuit because I don't know if you ever wore one before. It's like
second
the most
skin.
It's and I didn't wear any underwear or a bathing suit.
But you did that on purpose so you could get close to the dolphin.
No. Actually, I didn't. What happened is I wore a bathing suit. You're supposed to wear a bathing suit underneath it. And I had like this really long like board short type bathing suit on, and when you put on the skin tight suit, it just felt like I was wearing an uncomfortable diaper that was giving me a wedgie. So I was like, you know what, fuck this. So I took off the bathing suit, and I pretty much had a huge hard on the whole time because I had taken dick pills the night before. And they were still in my system, and the swimsuit feels really good when you're walking through SeaWorld. So like I had this huge boner walking throughout the park trying to get to the pool. And
with lots of children.
And then you walk into a pool that has a audience around the whole thing.
Did that make your dick harder?
No, it made me freaked out because I was on shrooms, and I'm thinking that we're just going to have this private like champagne room with the dolphin, and then you get into this like, oh no, you're advertising this program to everybody at SeaWorld for them, and you're just kind of like a show for people to watch. Right. Interact. And so then I'm like, you know what, I'm either can like think about this too much and freak the fuck out and have a heart attack, or I'm just gonna be like act like no one's there. And I was just acting like a damn fool with these freaking dolphins. That's
how you got to do it though. Like I think you had way more fun than you would have if you kept freaking out about what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I pretty much just went crazy. And the only bad thing about it is that at one point the dolphin was laying on its back, and we're all lined up to like pet the dolphin. Like the first thing you do is when you get there is the dolphin comes to you, and then she flips it on its back, and so you're all in a line. I'm on the end by the tail, and the other people are by the throughout, and you just sit there and you start touching the dolphin. And then, we do this for 5 minutes while she's explaining the dolphin's like, don't touch the dolphin in the eyes. This is its ear hole. The ear of a dolphin is just like a pin, like a little pinhole. It was so amazing. Huh. And they have better hearing than us underwater. It's like, what the fuck? So then the whole time she gets down to me and she goes, all right, move your hand. And I'm like rubbing my hand, in a circular motion. I'm like, oh, I'm rubbing. And she's like, no, I mean, take your hand off for a second. And I was like, this is her vagina. And the whole time I was rubbing the dolphin's vagina.
You had no idea.
Yeah. And then I think the dolphin, because I was like playing with it so much, got kind of either pissed or horny. I don't know. But the dolphin racked me twice within 45 minutes. Huh. Didn't touch anybody else. Racked me twice. Second time really hard. And then the end, the dolphin's supposed to...
They're strong.
Very strong. That's when you're riding it, you're like, I could feel this is so much muscle that it would kill me if it could. Yeah. Or if it wanted to. Then at the very end, the dolphin's supposed to be on its stomach or something like that and come out and just splash you with its tail. And, it gets everyone wet, and that's the end of the dolphin thing. Well, what happened is the dolphin fucking hit me in the face with its tail, and my bottom lip was just so swollen up and everything like that. Like, it slapped me in the face and racked me.
Oh, you got slapped by a dolphin in the face.
Yeah. Anyways, it was fucking amazing.
Wow.
I highly recommend it. And, so go to SeaWorld. Check them out.
On mushrooms.
On mushrooms. Don't do it on mushrooms. Just go to SeaWorld.
I don't know. I think mushrooms would enhance the experience because I did have a dolphin swimming adventure in Cancun, and yours sounds way better.
Yeah. It was good, too. It was a lot of time. Like, I didn't know it was that interactive. I thought it was more like you get to touch it and take one photo.
See, I've never swam with dolphins, but I've swam with manta rays before, which was terrifying because they're like, listen, you're swimming with the manta rays, but really you're not, because if you touch one of these things and they sting you, we're going to have to take you back to the hospital.
Wow.
So it was mostly just danger. But it was pretty badass because we were in the Grand Caymans, and it was pretty far out to sea, and it was pretty shallow water. And it was, I mean, it's amazing to see these things, like, because you're not sure how big they are until they kind of take off out of the sand, and you realize that thing is like 12 feet wide.
Oh my gosh.
And seeing it swim underneath you, and you're just kind of treading water, you're like, but after they give you all these warnings, you're mostly just like, don't fucking sting me. Please don't sting. That's all you're really doing. Right. But you're also so mesmerized by the size that it kind of doesn't matter. But I touched a few. Like, you can put your hand out, let them graze, as long as you don't, like, startle them. They're kind of used to the grazing. That was pretty cool. But I didn't grab onto one. Like, that would have been a dumb idea.
Steve Earle, or whatever his name is. Isn't that how he died?
Yep.
Steve Irwin?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he got
Manta
stabbed,
ray.
like, right through the
Right in
heart
the
or
heart.
something. Yeah. Oh.
Jesus. Yeah, the ones on SeaWorld, you could touch them and everything. Also, they have this huge pool where they have ones that are like the size of like my car compared to like little babies, and they will come out of the water and you could feed them, and they look like little puppies with like weird wings or something.
It's
like
crazy
that.
though when you see them swimming through the ocean. When you're in the ocean with them and they're right up close, you can't really see how they're moving, so they just look like these blades sliding through the water, which was was tripping me out a little bit, but it was a good experience.
The worst part is when I had the boner and I'm trying to walk through SeaWorld, and like I had to like kind of like adjust it so it's like going straight up, you know, so it doesn't look like it's pointing out, you know. And then somebody's just like, the squad, and I'm like, oh.
Of course. I was going to talk about touching alligators, but we'll move on.
I've eaten alligator.
It's delicious, though
pretty
I
darn
want to
good.
have it
Had it
some
on
way
a
other
stick.
than fried.
Oh, so you've only had it fried
Yeah, I've only had it fried.
on a stick.
Would you ever eat horse? Rogan just had raw horse in Canada, and I was like,
Is he training for Game of Thrones?
No.
Why is he eating raw horse
Is
then
that in
if
Game
he's
of
not
Thrones?
trying
Game of
to
Thrones?
marry the Carl?
Is that in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Khaleesi has to eat an entire
That's why
horse
he's eating
heart
it. That's why he's eating it.
To gain its powers.
to gain its powers.
That's what you do, yeah.
So she can
Am I
give
the
birth
ol-
to the stallion that's gonna mount the world.
Am I the only person, by the way, when I have a burger once in a while, I'm like, I wonder if I'm gaining the knowledge of this cow and its powers.
No, I don't think like that.
Yeah, I'm more like I'm
if I was
getting
eating a human,
parasites.
maybe.
You're getting parasites.
Yeah, well, raw horse is like one of the biggest things of parasites.
Why was he eating raw horse?
Because he went to this place in Canada he always goes to, and this I guess there's this amazing restaurant if you're a meat lover, which he is, and in Canada that he knows the owner, and every time the owner goes there, the owner just hooks him up with like all these amazing specials. And
Something weird.
something weird, yeah.
This is an
face.
alien. We have the only real alien ever known to man, and we're serving it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what would happen.
Probably.
Exactly what would happen. Do we want to talk about Game of Thrones, or are you going to talk about that on Rogan?
I don't watch it, so I have
You
nothing
don't
to
watch?
add to it. No.
You
Oh,
don't watch
man.
Game of Thrones?
No.
Well, it's awesome. The books are better. Get the audiobooks if you're going to be lazy. Do you want to talk about Game of Thrones?
We can. I mean, I
Clearly, we're all really excited to talk about
well,
Game of Thrones.
I think isn't it a pretty slow show?
No,
I mean, it's-
well,
no. Well,
no.
it's sometimes it's up and down. I mean, I can't wait for the new season. By the way, like I'm really excited. I do think that they kind of slowed down a little bit in season 2. Season 1 was like they cut the head off of a fucking horse in season 1.
Well, yeah, because
And-
that happens.
Yeah, no, it totally happens. I know they're going with the books, but I feel like maybe it's just the way the story goes. But in season 2, a lot of the politics took. a
Well,
lot
the
more.
story is it's a political
Oh,
drama.
I totally
It's
get
all
it.
just in a fantasy setting.
Right, but they just set everything up in season 1 to be like
This is gonna be the best
show ever.
Yeah, I mean it is like
An incest.
an incest and more murder after the incest. Yeah, so
I just want someone to change George R. R. Martin to a desk until he finishes. I just want more because I need more Arya Stark in my life because she is my favorite little heroine.
apparently all he does is blog about football from my
Are you
hardcore friends.
serious?
Yeah. And all the real hardcore fans are just worried he's gonna die before he finishes.
Yeah, because he's not a healthy looking whatever age he is.
He lives off cheeseburgers and football.
I hate.
I wonder if people like that, if they just film death scenes. Like if a show like that, they were like, all right, we're just going to film everyone has a death scene just in case if something happens, you know, with their
That's a
character.
good. Because they're so hardcore with the story. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's a really interesting question.
Well, it'd have to be the book would have to be finished written first.
That's true. Well, they're kind of from the hardcore fans, aren't they? Kind of straying a little bit.
Sort of vaguely wrapped it up, kind of on book 5, and so there doesn't necessarily have to be a 6th book. But it would be great if there was. For the show, I got a little bored watching it because although it was really, really good, they left a lot of amazing stuff that was in the books out of the show, which they have to do because the books are so dense.
They're
and
so thick. Yeah.
So thick.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, it sucks as a fan of a book of something for them to do that, but a lot of times I try to put myself in the shoes of somebody that has to boil something like that down into a... Because here's the thing. If you went book... Like, do you remember the Watchmen movie? Way too long.
Yeah.
But they went basically panel for panel from the comic.
Except that they completely changed the ending.
They changed the ending.
Completely.
They totally changed the ending, which sucks because the original ending of The Watchmen is so wonderfully weird. But sans that, they still told every inch of that story to the point where by the time I was through the movie, I was kind of like, oh my God, my butt is numb. You know what I mean? The pacing for video and the pacing for books are very different things.
This is why I always have been voting to bring back the intermission. Though I understand that would create editing issues because you have to create 2 different story peaks.
Yep. But they do it in TV all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
I concur. I concur there's potential. Are you guys watching anything good on TV? I just started watching The In-Betweeners.
In-Betweeners is pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Why do the British just make the best television shows that there are?
I don't know about that because I tried to watch your guys' Doctor Who shit the other day, and that shit fucking is so stupid. I don't understand. I don't understand how anybody likes Doctor
What
Who.
season did you watch? Which Doctor? Was it
I don't even give a fuck. It was like something was going on in this person's house, and there was like this black chick that became like this weird possessed devil or something like. All I saw was horrible British acting and really horrible budget.
What's a very campy show on purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you have to respect the history.
All right. I could watch the original one because I remember the original one being decent as a child, but there's no way I'm going to sit through that shit. That reminded me of like half the budget of a soap opera.
What TV sci-fi do you like? Do you watch Battlestar?
I started watching it. I never really finished, but that was okay. I liked Star Trek, back in the day.
Right.
Nowadays, I don't really watch anything.
Maybe you're just not a TV sci-fi
Walking
guy.
Dead.
That's different. That's like horror.
I quit watching The Walking Dead, man. Because, again, the books are better.
I stopped after season 1. I'm going to wait till they're done to power through it. I kind of like watching better that way. I have so many shows on my DVR that I feel like I have to catch up every week. And it's more fun on like, I have nothing to do on this Sunday that I'm just going to watch like 12 hours of TV, which is not good for me, but I don't care.
It's the new Netflix model. It's I want to binge.
Yeah.
When
Binge
is Arrested
watching.
Development coming out?
Super soon, I think.
It's going to be... I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Lucille 2 and a Lucille...
It's going to be good.
Setting up jokes for days. Okay, so maybe what you didn't understand about Doctor Who, Mr. Redban, is that they create these amazing story arcs that get set up seasons in advance, and so it's dense.
Well, I get maybe the writing's good.
The writing's really
but
good.
I can't stand horrible acting. It takes me out of the story. It takes me out of the story, and then I'm just
Can't be the main guy because he's pretty damn.
He's
good.
pretty cheese dicky though. You have to admit if
Okay,
you
which
see it for
main
your
guy?
first
Because
time,
there's been 11 doctors.
Oh yeah, I have no idea which doctor.
Okay,
it is.
did he have tall? Was he skinny with spiky hair
Yes.
in a blue suit? You think David Tennant is a terrible
Yes,
actor?
I think he's a
Are
cheese
you
stick.
fucking kidding me?
He's a cheese stick.
What?
He's a cheese
David
stick.
Tennant is my dream man. You don't understand what the things that I would do to him.
All right.
No! How darest thou?
It's
I'm
Ryan's
hawks
religion.
on both your houses.
How can you even
Cuntbag?
defend that acting?
What?
He's a cheese dick.
You are so lucky I don't have things that I could throw at your face.
And that's what the person.
Here's a ninja star.
I've heard, I've already got beat up from another Doctor Who fan, and for the same reason. But I'm sorry, man.
But David Tennant, oh my god.
But the Doctor Who fans.
Look at Lost. Lost was an amazing story with a bunch of arches and well, whatever.
Oh,
Even
see,
if
I
it
didn't
that's right.
watch.
See,
I
it
didn't
is
watch.
out, but
No.
at least the acting
No.
was believable.
No.
The problem with Lost was they had an amazing story until it was
The writers didn't know what they were
Lost
writing
was
about.
a 4-season show that they did for like 7 seasons. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely,
With Lost. So
absolutely.
there was like, we got to fill 2 episodes with just flashbacks.
It just wasn't comfortable to watch because I just,
I refuse to watch Lost. Fuck that noise.
I don't know. Sure, I'm
But
going to
In-Betweeners
get
is
fucking
fabulous.
killed on Twitter about Doctor Who. But
I know. I'm just waiting to see the nerds flame you at.
well, the original, if I could say anything, the original I remember being great, but because I watched it as a kid. But
Yeah.
I could not get into this one.
It's funny that Doctor Who started as an educational program for children.
Yeah, on PBS.
And now the latest episodes deal with much more adult stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And Blink is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, Blink's a pretty scary episode. They've done like 2 of them now. I felt that. I just felt a breeze. You just created a breeze. That's amazing.
A very strong lungs.
So I bought a new piece of technology.
I know you
I
did.
just returned one. That's what I wanted to ask you about. So you bought a camera.
I did. Well, I did buy a camera. Yeah,
Because I was just looking before you guys got here at the EOS Mark
the 5D,
5D Mark III.
Yeah.
And the problem I had with earlier versions of it was that you couldn't autofocus during video, which is not something I wanted to use every time. But there's a lot of times where I'm just like, I don't want to sit there and try to focus the whole fucking time I'm filming video. And my question that I put out on Twitter was, did they ever fix that? You know, is that something? Because I know the 7D allows you to do
The problem is those lenses are made for either manual focus or taking photographs. So they're not made for fast, quick focus like smaller camcorders are.
Right.
So until they actually build lenses that are made for that
I mean,
kind
they
of
make
thing,
lenses.
They make lenses.
And the 7D can do it.
But the 7D can do it, but those lenses were originally intended for focusing for stills, not for video. And the pros that actually use these cameras for video, the pros manual focus everything. No production pros ever autofocus anything. That's just like it's just unreliable.
Yeah, but you're trying to do that while there's a million things going on.
You're trying to do that with a lens that has to power the weight, which is the Nikon.
So it doesn't do
better.
it. So the new one doesn't do it.
I'm not sure if that has the focus. A lot of the Nikons have that autofocus. They can face track.
Right.
Ryan's looking at fashion stuff, by the way, which is awesome.
No, I'm going through my. It's not all fashion stuff. It's like boobs and science fiction.
Oh, there you go.
How can you see what I'm looking at?
What you have a TV right in front of you. 3 TVs in front of you now.
I was fixated on my screen.
What camera did you end up going with?
I got the Nikon D600, which is a full frame.
Okay. I have the
sensor.
500 D500.
Yeah, so it's it's I got it because I've had like 4 big cameras now, and they've all been like they're all like the kind of consumer level ones. So I wanted to get finally get a grown up one. But I mean, and I bought a classic old lens, which I'm excited about. It's like an old Nikon lens. It's like 20 years old, but it's really really good.
They
like
probably still sell the same lens, right?
They sell versions of it. They're much more expensive, but it's essentially the same thing. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm
I love
excited about that.
Nikons. They're my favorite. One of my favorite cameras of all time was my super old school, like the basic manual film Nikon.
The F4, the F1.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
The thing is, like,
And
Canon,
I'm not doing fashion stuff, by the way. I'm updating my Tumblr. Thank you very much. Go to ryankeely.tumblr.com for some magic. Fuck y'all and talk about cameras.
Well, Canon is a great company, and they're obviously huge in the video market now. But if you just want to take photos, Nikon is better, in my opinion, because they have a much better interface. It's like the difference between trying to download a game on your Wii or trying to download a game on your phone. You know what I mean? Like Nikon just makes it like stupid easy to take a photograph.
Yeah, and that's what I like about my Nikon. I actually, from my Nikon, went and got the Sony. God, I can't even think of the 5XN.
NEX5?
NEX5N.
Yep.
I went with that one just because I really liked how small it was, how fast it was. And I liked the ability with the lenses, and the video was really well done. And I got an adapter so I can use Canon lenses and Nikon lenses on it. So it was more of like a kit camera where it felt like it's just like a little fun camera that took really good video on top of it. But now I was just looking at the 5N, but
the 5D.
5D. I mean,
5D is great for video. I mean, there are like the movie Like Crazy. Which was Anton Yelchin. It was it wasn't a romantic comedy. It was mostly just like a heavy romance movie that, internationally shown, and it was filmed on a 7D. It was filmed on a camera cheaper than the 5D.
Yeah.
And I mean, the trick to that is they use like $70,000 worth of lenses because it's really about the lens in the end. Mm-hmm. You can put a sexy lens on a decent camera and take really good photographs.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to buy this old school lens, something I know that has been vetted by pros for decades. And use that versus buying something that's 4 times as much money that doesn't have as much, street cred, if you will.
Yeah, and then Terry Richardson crushes it with a disposable camera.
Yeah, it really is. It's like it's really about the photographer in the end.
Yeah,
and
Warhol's Polaroid collection.
Yeah, but it's awesome that the photography is this accessible. But it's funny that some people like I see guys like, and more power to them if they want to do it, but they'll buy like. $10,000 in camera gear, and then they go like this. They take a quick photo, and they don't even really aim it or anything. Like they don't take their time. Like I'm like, you don't have to take your time. That's fine. But do you really want to spend like $6,000 on the most expensive Nikon out there, not to take your time taking a photograph?
Yeah.
It's you don't need to buy all this stuff if you want to be a good photographer. As Ryan's saying, like all the rules are the same whether you have a plastic, paper, cardboard, disposable, or you have the sexiest Nikon D4 that exists.
I recommend something that I'll have to get you the model later. but I got it for my Nikon, and it's a little. I think it's like $40. I got it off Amazon that plugs into your camera, and it allows you to do like time-lapse photography. So you got, like, I did it with the moon one night, and it just had the moon go across the sky and stuff.
It's an intervalometer.
Yeah, it was badass.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. There's a lot of people that do like that. You can fake like Matrix style stuff, or you can you can do a lot of like stop motion. Because this stuff's so accessible, though, with the advent of YouTube and the accessibility of this kind of technology that used to be kind of limited just the pros, there's so much cool stuff popping up on the internet right now. I saw a video of a guy who strung together like 20 GoPro cameras in a circle.
So funny. That's what I was just Googling right now.
Yeah, and he's like jumping in the air, and then he's doing like Matrix spins like in his front yard. It's pretty badass. Like, that's what the Matrix did. They strung together a bunch of Nikon D70s in I think it was in like 1999 or 1998, and that's how they filmed those like cool like CG looking spin shots. They weren't CG at the time. They were like practically filmed, and then they cleaned them up later. And now there's kids doing it in their backyard with $150 cameras.
Do you have a GoCam? I have a
GoPro.
GoPro. I have the other one, the Contour 2 that I've fucked around with.
I want one, but I don't need one. And it's one of those things where I'm like, man, like I should get a GoPro and strap it to the front of my car and film me driving down the 101. You know, like I'm not really sure what to do with it, but it's not like they're so cool. Just
Google Glass and have the sex.
Google Glass it. Oh, Google Glass is interesting because the video. Here you go.
Yeah, here's a version of the GoCam. Bullet time effect, just using a bunch of GoCams all strapped to a stick.
This is low production value stuff. Like you don't have to spend a lot of money to achieve this effect now.
Yeah, and this is actually not the same video that I had seen yesterday, where it showed people like
jumping and
and all that stuff. I guess a lot of people are doing this.
The Google Glass stuff's interesting to me. There's a lot of bars already in major cities where they're like, especially San Francisco, where they're kind of beta testing this and they're giving it to like basically celebrities to try it out. And they're banning it. Bars are already banning it. It's super creepy because you don't know. Like, I mean, you can kind of tell right now because they're kind of like Geordie LaForge glasses. You're like, nice glasses, dude. You know what I mean? But like, there's the strong rumor that Warby Parker is.
I think we've talked about this.
Yeah, but it's.
I hope
it's
smart.
True. I hope it. I hope that more companies do ban it. Like as much as I think it's badass, and I would love my glasses to tell me what's going on.
Well, I hope that they ban it, but then I also hope that Warby Parker is going to be making them because then they'll be sexy and I'll want to wear them.
What they need to kind of do though for the banning is find a way, because if it's built into my daily glasses, which is what I think Google wants, they need to find a way to ban it without me having to take my glasses off. So like maybe like a signal jammer, or something like that.
Signal jammer, my sci-fi. Vagina just clenched. I was like, don't say things like signal jammer to me. Like white noise machine.
But it's because,
or like in Hyperion where they.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Hyperion.
Actually, no, that's from Foundation, where they don't have a white noise machine, that they just create random bits of conversation that they push out to cover up the secret conversations that they're having.
It's right now, cameras on your cell phone are already like a big privacy thing. Like, dudes trying to sneak like
so many upskirts, man. Step off my junk when I'm trying to order a drink.
Now it's going to be even easier with dudes looking down, breasticles with their glasses and going, Google Glass, take picture. Hopefully you can hear and give the command, and the girl can just punch the glasses while he's giving the command. But like,
that's what's cool is you're going to be able to do your own command, so it could just be a cough at one point. You could be like, every time you want to take a photo.
White eagle. I want Google Glasses though because I love the idea of walking down the street going, I could go for some noodles, and then boop beep beep boop boop, and then it's like, go this way for noodles. And I I was like, oh yeah,
or incoming video call.
It'll be like in those sci-fi movies when you get like the lighted sidewalk to tell you exactly where you need to go. Which was also in Foundation.
That's cool. Yeah.
The coolest thing that they did in that crappy remake of Total Recall was they had the phones built into the hands, and if you put it on a piece of glass, it would like show the heads-up display, and like you could video call while you had your hand on a glass, and it would just use the glass to display stuff. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
the rest of the movie was terrible.
I returned a piece of technology today. I returned the Galaxy Note tablet that I bought.
Oh yeah, you weren't that into it.
Yeah, I bought it for drawing on a tablet. And, of course, I tried and tried, but the hand detection wasn't good, meaning, like, if you're trying to draw, it can pick up the side of your hand.
You guys already nerded out about this.
But then, luckily, my favorite company in the world finally is getting their shit together. Wacom Cintiq just announced the 13-inch HD, which is a I have one already. I have the big one. I have the 24-inch or something like that, which is a pain in the ass because it has a cable that goes, a monitor cable that goes to your computer. You have to have a separate graphics card in order.
Yeah, it's
and
complex
shit like that.
for a user.
Yeah, and it's got all these like boxes. Like you have this huge box for power, and like it's just a pain in the ass. This one is the first one that I believe that only has a connection to your computer, USB, and it powers the thing for it, I believe.
It's probably USB 3.
Yeah, USB 3. And it's full-on HD widescreen. It's very compact, and it looks like the perfect size to put in a book bag. So if you want to go drink and draw at night or whatever.
Yeah.
Now
you hook up to your laptop and
yeah, and this comes out at the beginning of next month, and it's only $999. And it
far cheaper than the
cheaper.
couple grand you have to drop on a regular one.
Right. Now, the only thing that gets me to kind of hold off on it is that supposedly this summer they're releasing a tablet version of it, which won't have any connection to your computer. But the negative part is that now you won't be able to do Photoshop with that, is what I'm guessing, or you know what I mean? Like,
what would the price point for a Cintiq tablet run? Do you think?
Oh, it'd be expensive.
It'd probably be, I'd say,
they'd have to have Photoshop
$14.99.
built in. I mean, they're going to have to support those major art programs because here's the thing about. So it's I've asked the guys, by the way. It's pronounced Wacom. I wanted to know.
Oh yeah.
And I asked the guys, and you know, this company is probably one of the biggest stepping stones for art in recent years because this has allowed a lot of artists to. There's a lot of artists out there that don't paint, they don't use charcoal and all that kind of stuff, but they're still really good artists, and they can rapidly come up with content much faster than they ever used to be able to do. And this company kind of paved the way for that to happen. You know, like concept art in games or even a lot of comics now they're drawn on these digital devices because these guys can get you your comics a lot quicker because of this versus, you know, drawing and erasing on paper,
well,
starting over.
This is what I designed the last two Death Squad logos on, and it's a brilliant piece of technology for artists, and that's why, you know, these tablets that are coming out should have something similar to it. It just can't even hold a light to this company. So this is a really big deal, I think, because this is a price point that's actually going to get into more people's pockets, and hopefully these tablet manufacturers will go, hey, look, that's how you do it. This is how we can market this towards artists. Where
Right.
I think now it's just kind of a side thing.
A couple years ago we did I was involved with a kind of a crowdsourcing experiment, and we had a couple of the Cintiqs in the public lobby at the Game Developers Conference, and we had guest artists come from the game industry, like the kind of the best of the best. We had guys from like Weta, we had guys from like all these, we had from like Double Fine, like all these awesome studios, and they came. They're kind of showing off their skills. We had like the TVs up there, but then we also had stations for anyone to just kind of sit down and play, and it was so cool to watch people who weren't. We had like, I'm an audio guy, and he sits down, and it's so natural for him to start just drawing stuff in Photoshop. Mm-hmm. And he's just drawing, like he's just painting the stuff. I'm like, oh, do you work in art and in games? It's like, no, I make music. So it's pretty cool. I could see a future where I never want the pencil to go away and the paper and the chalk to go away, but I can see a future where these become so cheap that you go to art class when you're in middle school, you sit down at your tablet, and you get to just kind of play, and you get more tools than you would normally get kind of, you know, in person. You get to like all these kind of cool like warps and
this
filters.
This is making my eyeball twitch.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick this up next month, and I'm probably going to use this to draw the third shirt, finish drawing the third shirt, and so I'll give a review of it. I think it's the first week of April that this
Will
comes out.
you be doing that on Muff Said?
Sure.
Because the first week of April, actually, we are going to have Derek Robertson, the artist behind Transmetropolitan, on the show.
My favorite comic now of all time.
I know. Wow. And Derek Robertson's going to come.
That's
he doesn't
super
even live
awesome.
in L.A. He's making a special trip down here.
Little trek.
Special trip to Muff Said.
That's going to be a great episode.
It is going to be. It's going to be really exciting.
I can nerd out and be like, so when you had the idea of the comic and, you know, you're going to make this look like this, like, what, you remember that?
The double-headed cat.
You remember that?
And the way you draw vomit, because you draw the best vomit ever, because he does.
You remember that?
Yeah. So looking forward to Muff Said 23.
There's a video I was going to say for another podcast, but I think it's fitting for this. One of the good things with Vimeo is not only is artists being able to put up their like work in like a really high quality.
Yeah, I love YouTube, but Vimeo looks better.
Yeah, Vimeo looks better, and the community is so amazing for these
short
these
films.
short makers.
Yeah, I mean Vimeo is like where you want if you want like good kind of curated artist content, whereas YouTube's kind of like the dump.
Right, and so there's this video that somebody sent me today, and I'm sorry I can't remember who it is right now, but it's called "Biting Elbows, Bad Motherfucker," and
Biting Elbows, Bad Motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's Insane Office Escape 2. And the crazy thing about this video...
Oh, I've seen this. This is crazy.
This is not only one of the coolest videos I've ever seen.
This still actually has nothing really to do with it. Yeah,
has nothing really to do with it.
I see taters. I like taters.
But what is cool about this video is it takes a lot of movies, including like Bond movies, and it gives them a run for the money. This shit...
I think it's filmed on a GoPro.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah, it seems like it is filmed on a GoPro. But we won't show the whole thing because I really want you to go check this out.
It's action, science fiction, like it's pretty badass.
Yeah, so let's take just the beginning of this video.
Push the button.
Here we go. For the audio listeners, a guy just got shot and he's tied up. A dog attacks the other guy, throws the dog out the window, and now goes on to a first-person, one of the most amazing first-person videos I've ever seen.
Was this made in like Russia or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Meanwhile, in Soviet Russia, it was probably one of my favorite memes of all time.
Soviet Russia.
It gets really fucking crazy, though.
For those of you that are just listening, there is action and adventure and murder. And then there's running and kicking.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Here it goes.
Is this all single shot?
No, there's a couple cutaways.
Yeah.
And the sci-fi element, too.
The blood coming out of his mouth when he steps on his chest.
I love murder and violence so much on the television.
Check this shit out. There's a cut right here.
Ah.
So anyways, it's a really cool first-person shooter. Like I said, it looks like it's done on a GoPro, and it's just full on. It's great. It's a fun video to watch, and this is like how
What's
they
it
do this.
called?
Look at how they did this. How the fuck did they do that?
It's Russia?
Yeah, here's the it's called Biting Elbows, Bad Motherfucker, Insane Office Escape #2.
Oh, it sounds like there's a first one.
Yeah, so check it out. It's done by Laya Nashuler, I guess. That's how I don't even know how to say this name.
Yeah, it seems like there's like a little bit of narrative there, and the guy is like trying to recapture like a kind of a teleportation device.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So they eventually start slipping into some pretty cool sci-fi realms. I know.
It's great.
At one point, they're vaulting over like airplanes too.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, what's that game where it's that chick that's going around the whole entire place, like running off the side of the walls and
Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, Mirror's Edge. There's some Mirror's Edge shit going on.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
Here. Yeah. But
oh man, I loved.
So touching elbows, bad motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
I thought it was called Touching Elbows.
And the other video
that makes you think of you've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Oh yeah.
When they do the weird like elbow sex thing.
Oh yeah.
Between Riff Raff and Magenta.
Touching elbows.
I'm sure that's not what they're referencing.
Probably not.
No, it's not happening. So you're going to GDC.
I'm going to GDC. I'm going to be up there all week.
Oh, it's so
7
spendy.
days.
GNC, huh?
GDC.
The Game Developers Conference. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of it's probably not the biggest gathering of game developers because I think E3 might still beat it numbers wise, but it is the biggest kind of like game focused show on the planet.
It's not
basically.
for it's not for fans. It's for developers.
No, you can't get in as a fan. It's
$1,300 for the pass.
It's pretty expensive, and you still have to prove credentials too. E3 now, I think they're opening up E3 to the public, but you have to pay. It's still expensive, like $750.
Whoa!
But you don't have to prove credentials if you pay.
E3 wasn't for the public.
No, E3.
No, it hasn't been for a while.
It's never been for the public. E3 was originally designed as a sales show where they would show sales teams the latest games, and then it basically became a media spectacle. But it was never, ever intended for the public. And it used to be in Atlanta.
I just assumed that it was for the public because they let me in. I'm like, they'll let anyone into this thing. I'm going.
It's funny, too. The biggest public game show out there is Gamescom in Germany.
I love Gamescom.
Gamescom in Germany they pull in I think I've been there in the crowd of like 100,000 people or something. Like, it's crazy.
I've been to Gamescom. It's fabulous.
It's smelly but fantastic.
It's not that smelly.
It is. The trains are smelly.
The trains.
The trains around Gamescom stink.
Like armpits or poop?
Like people who haven't showered for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think
pro
we're on the
gamers.
trains.
Smell like pro gamers.
We walked over.
Like Sunday Comic Con.
Like Sunday Comic Con. Yeah.
That's a very specific funk.
It is
It's traumatizing.
Sunday Comic Con in the art gallery.
Yeah, it's It's more like Dr. Pooh.
Oh, drops the mic.
So GDC is happening next week, and you
Yep.
are going to give us a full report, right?
I'll give you a full report.
Take your camera, make some videos.
I know. Bring us some videos back.
I'm going to take my new camera, make some sexy videos, and I can't wait because
Nick Ahrens.
the great thing
Pull your
about
weight around here.
the great thing about GDC is it's a lot of post-mortem, so you really get to experience a lot of behind-the-scenes things of games that you love. One of my favorite stories about GDC is the Wii balance board. When they came out with that crazy peripheral, they're like, we're going to make a scale and make video games out of a scale. Like Nintendo's kind of crazy now. When they showed, they did a post-mortem of how they created that, and they dug around with old Nintendo 64 controller parts and built this interactive balance board out of the sticks from the Nintendo controller.
What?
Yeah, I was blown away.
Science!
Yeah, and then there was another great one where Ken Levine, the guy who created BioShock, which the new BioShock Infinite's coming up and looks amazing, he did another post-mortem where the original BioShock, which was underwater and you fought like these kind of mutant, like gene-spliced people. Originally, you fought like these crazy like trilobites. Like he showed
Troglodytes?
or troglodytes. He showed such an early version of BioShock that you go, holy crap! Like this is how much a game changes in the years that they develop it. Very few games are the day they're like, we're gonna make this game, and then they release it. The games are almost like 99% of the time completely different than what they set out to be. And this is the place you get to see that, or you get to see like Uncharted behind the scenes, or how they made like the technology for the Sony Move controller, which was also pretty cool. So like if you nerd out on this stuff, it is like kind of the mecca of that kind of thing. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, you can say your.
I was gonna say, and it's the Game Choice Awards, which is kind of the most respected video game awards in the industry.
Important.
Yeah, so it's voted on by the industry for the industry. But it's kind of pure because you don't have to pay to.
It's what
be
the
a nominee.
Academy should be.
Yeah, you don't have to pay to be a nominee there, so it's all true winners voted on by their peers.
What I would like you to come back with is some sweet video game footage, and also I want to hear what indie games are really coming out and really standing out in that space.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. The first 2 days now of GDC are there was a lot more focus on like an indie and there's the IGF Awards, which is the first part of the award show is dedicated to independent development, which is pretty cool. Looks like there's a lot of crazy shit coming down the line. There's a pretty cool website out there called VenusPatrol.com where it's devoted to indie video games. A lot of them are free. You can just download them onto your PC and play. There's a lot of wacky, crazy shit out there. But it's pretty cool. You can support those guys out there. There's a really cool game out there called. I'm going to blow the name of this game.
Literally.
I hope the name is Brian.
There's a game called Brian. Oh, I just blew it. But yeah, go check out VenusPatrol.com. Cool guy, Brandon Boyer used to run the IGF. He's kind of like.
I am on the website right now, and I am already a fan.
Oh, you might see an ad for a game up at the top for a specific game.
Oh, for Baggett?
For Baggett, for Hidden Variable Studios, where I happen to be the creative producer. We helped kickstart this. It's a crowdfunded destination for people who enjoy this stuff.
Why are we just talking about this now? Is this new?
Venus Patrol?
Yeah.
It's been out for a few months.
Why just now?
Just now.
Anyway. So GDC is happening, which is very, very exciting. And for those of us in the Southern California area, WonderCon is about to happen.
Oh yeah.
I'm about to go to my first WonderCon.
It's growing.
Well, now
faster
it's
and
down
faster.
in Anaheim.
Oh, that's right.
So they moved it from San Francisco to Anaheim, which has been a major point of contention. But it's under the Comic-Con banner, so it should be good.
Oh, does Comic-Con own it?
I'm on their website right now, and yes, they do.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, they've got their
they're
cock all over it.
They're like a nerd conglomerate.
They are, and
you're seeing my game on screen right now.
That's why I really like to support some of the smaller conventions, like Kamikaze and some other ones.
No, the conventions are good. I want somebody to kind of shake up the convention world, though. They're kind of all the same. Like I go to them, and there's a bunch of booths.
Someone did, and
MorrisonCon?
Yeah. It was a game changer, but the thing is that that was a super independent event, and they're not going to put another one for another 2 or 3 years
because they have to get a lot of money.
And it's rumored that it's going to be EllisCon, but I don't know if that's true or not.
It'd be kind of cool if they changed it every con, though.
No, it's going to be a different person
every
because they did MorrisonCon, and now they're not saying James Syme up at Isotope Comics in San Francisco, my comic book guru, the best place to shop for comic books in San Francisco, possibly the West Coast. He puts it on, and he's saying that's not going to be Grant Morrison again. It's going to be someone new.
Oh, interesting.
So 3 years ahead of time, I'm like, what is it? Who wants to go? There's no lines for the panel.
I don't really know how you could kind of shake up a con and make it different, but it's...
Well, the one thing Kamikaze you could walk around in, which was groundbreaking.
Yeah, because it wasn't packed. Yeah, and Kamikaze also had like a zombie survival zone, which was pretty cool. But I'm kind of at that point though where walking around a bunch of different booths and then like mindlessly staring at a video screen for 20 minutes.
It's over it. I'm
not excited about that. Even if there was a bunch of people there that I really liked, I'm like, I'm not really sure.
I still talk about, because I was lucky enough to go to World Mobile Congress just once, and this must have been back in 2010. And this was when Google Android really took over the entire convention, and they had so much interconnectivity and so much interactiveness. Like they had the coolest booth I've ever been in, where they had slides with ball pits and a smoothie bar for free smoothies, and they gave away pins all over the entire convention. Different booths that weren't even Google booths would at certain times of the day put out collectible pins that were all different Android designs. You could make an Android figure yourself and print out stickers. It was spectacular. The entire convention was Google being interactive. And all of the other companies, really, it was the best. It was when you first saw the Samsung Galaxy.
Right. You know who does cons pretty well? The PAX guys. Because they have a whole entire section of PAX devoted to tabletop gaming, where you can it's kind of like giant LAN parties, but for tabletop gaming and Magic Gathering. But they also, at PAX East, at least one year, they had a huge retro arcade in one of the rooms. And I was like, oh, they're going to have like Pac-Man, Sprint, and all that kind of stuff. I walked in there's probably like 50 or 60 different games in there, and it was massive, and they had like duplicates, and they felt like a huge old arcade from my childhood.
Well, E3 that Redban and I went to last year had that amazing history of video games exhibit that was spectacular. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's things like that really look back at the history, because now there's such a big history.
Yeah, interactivity I think is key with a lot of these cons, and I didn't dislike like Kamikaze, but there wasn't very much interactivity for me as a fan.
Well, they're also a brand new convention.
Right, they're still getting on their legs.
But they had the zombie zone, and you could walk around, which
it wasn't too packed. Kamikaze did not smell bad yet either.
No, it did not smell bad.
Yeah, time will tell. It may happen.
It's very true. So I want to take a minute to talk about Scalped, which is one of my favorite comic books of all time. It was written by a brand new author. This was like basically his first book, Jason Aaron. He's only done a few things. Illustrated by R.M. Guerrera. It's published by Vertigo. It's groundbreaking. And I finally read the last trade paperback. And I just want to take a minute to...
Did you bring it with to show the class?
No, I forgot. I had a very busy day today. But we can look up their artwork by searching Scalped on the internet.
So give us the rundown. What's
So
Scalped about?
Scalped, it's a modern crime noir. It's about a undercover federal agent going back to the Indian reservation where he lives. The art is breathtaking. It's very raw. It has a very specific color palette. It's very distinctive. And also it's very character driven. Jason Aaron does a really amazing job of fleshing out each and every character, and every choice that they make is consistent. It's a thoughtful book. It's a smart book. It's violent. It's sexy.
Nice.
It's up there. It's easily in my top 10 comic books of all time, hands down.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto art.
Oh, that kind of pulp. Oh, yeah, I can see that pulpy art.
Yeah.
It's definitely very pulpy. I mean, it is a crime noir focus. It does take place in an Indian reservation. It is about federal agents.
But that would make sense along with the Grand Theft Auto beginnings of crime noir, like that first kind of scene of that art style. So I can see Grand Theft Auto being inspired by something like this.
It's a spectacular book.
How long has it been out? Like, how long have you been reading through this?
I started reading Scalped. I've been reading for a long time. I've been years. I started reading this back maybe about 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. So it's been around for a while.
It's been around for a while. It's the final issue just came out in this past year. The final trade paperback.
They've been taking their time.
As with an independent comic, you wait for it to develop. And as someone that reads in trade paperback, it's always the waiting for all the issues to come out, and they get delayed because it's independent artists, and then you get the trade paperback. And the final chapter has been out for a long time, but I just finished it this past week. And it's one of those books that stayed with me. It's been, I've been reading Scalped through my entire journey these last several years. For those of you that have read Preacher and you come off of Preacher and you're like, what do I read now?
Oh,
nothing's ever going to be like Preacher ever again. I refer to Scalped as my Preacher methadone. So just go out and check it out. It's Scalped. It's by Jason Aaron. It's put out by Vertigo, illustrated by R.M. Guerrera. It's spectacular.
Great.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a follow-up for Preacher.
It's the only thing,
I read Transmet after Preacher,
Yes.
but they're very, 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 very different books.
Very different books. And, it's two different art. I for a while, I said that I had to do Scalped and Why the Last Man at the same time to kind of deal with Preacher being over, but I think that I could have just done it with Scalped.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to steal those from you then.
Yeah, you will. Though Brian K. Vaughan, his new series Saga, which we have talked about on here too, with Fiona, what's her name? Definitely go check that out as well. We've talked about it. It's amazing. And I'm reading Hyperion. I'm still reading it.
Oh, so good.
I've had a busy week. 2 weeks since we've last been on. I haven't finished it yet. I'm very disappointed in myself.
Sorry, it's a really long book.
It's really long.
It's a really long book. So it's pretty funny though. Hyperion is a really epic, sprawling, nerdy, like science fiction. It's like, to me, Hyperion's like the science fiction equivalent to Game of Thrones in a way because of its scale and like complexity.
Well, you have to understand, I'm going straight from reading Foundation directly into reading Hyperion.
Oh, yeah.
I think I may need to put Hyperion down for a minute because I can't fit so much universe in my brain.
It's a lot of universe. It
I've
only
got
gets
two
bigger.
Really big universes going on right now.
Yeah. But a cool piece of factoid about the Hollywood world is Bradley Cooper is obsessed with making this into a movie or a TV show.
Are you serious?
Obsessed with it.
I knew I wanted to have sex with him. For a
there
reason.
was a quote that he said, "I would direct it myself, but the guild probably won't let me." So he's gung ho, and I know how Hollywood works. Everyone talks about making stuff, and 5% of it really gets made. But as after reading those books, I'm I'd love to see that.
I'm constantly sending you deadline links.
Oh my
God, they're gonna make this.
Yeah, oh man, half those stories are such kind of nerdy cock teases because you're like, oh my God, they're going to make this into a movie, and then nothing happens.
Well, what I'm really excited about, which I think is actually going to happen because how hard NBC... Did we talk about NBC getting slammed?
Oh, they've been getting slammed constantly. Jay Leno's getting slammed.
Well, they are being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
They are now going to make a pilot of The Sixth Gun, which we talked about probably in the first couple episodes here on Muff Said. The Sixth Gun, it's a supernatural Western thriller. It's pretty epic. It's got a steampunk feel, and they're going to make the pilot for that for NBC, and they've attached this gentleman who has been spectacular in Nashville. And I think they're going to do a good job with it. I think steampunk is finally going to hit critical mass and end up on NBC.
I think NBC rested on its laurels way too much with 30 Rock.
Yeah.
I think they were like, this is our show, and this is like kind of getting us through. The 30 Rock and The Office and all that kind of stuff kind of kept them going for a long time, and they didn't kind of plan ahead for like change. And they've tried to take some like Revolution, I think, is they're trying to like, you know, go with Revolution, which
I haven't even heard of Revolution.
It's
What's
like
about?
it's a science fiction show about like the power going out of the water or something like that. I wasn't even that excited about it, and I'm a big sci-fi nut. And
I got, you know, after watching Falling Skies, or watching the first several episodes of Falling Skies when we had Peter Shinkota on, I am just not impressed with a big brand's ability to handle sci-fi. I think sci-fi needs to go to a quirkier network to be properly realized.
Well, they need, and I think that's because they need to be able to let go and let the writers go crazy. Because if you try to tell somebody, and I think that wears a suit, like the story of Battlestar Galactica, the show, like all at once, be like, I don't want to know spoilers for anyone out there that still hasn't watched it yet, but if you try to tell them the whole storyline of like, here's what I want to do, they're going to go, get the fuck out of my office. You know what I mean? So like, it was cool to that sci-fi.
But Air Bud is going to get made.
Yeah, Air Bud 6 is going to get made. This time it's a beagle playing golf. You know what I mean? Like, so it's and the Sci-Fi Channel, you know, they have canceled some shows that are really good. That kind of sucks. But they, for the most part,
and then they also made Caprica, for which I shall never forgive.
I know, I did not like Caprica either. And they also made The Plan, which was a made-for-TV movie that filled in all of the gaps that were intentionally left out in Battlestar Galactica. They basically explained everything.
What?
I know. There's so many people out there that just can't handle the mystery of science fiction or fantasy. Like, that's what, like, when a book leaves you or a story leaves you on the ending of, like, who knows? That's they're making you feel that way on purpose. You don't want somebody to go, okay, so here's what really happened. Here's all of your questions answered. I don't want that.
No, I don't want that at all. Do you know why I am still saving Razor? Do you know that? I'm still saving
you
Razor
still haven't watched it.
I'm not ready. You know, it's like I've been it's like I saved Sandman for a rainy day. Razor is still banked for that one day when I need it.
Razor's not bad. Like you should watch Razor to fill in those gaps. But like The Plan was literally, it's called The Plan because they follow through the entire 4 years of the show. It's super stupid.
No, it sounds terrible. I don't want to see that. Yeah. I need the mystery. I need the intrigue, because life, there are always those questions that are unanswered. Like, why did you break up with me? That's
so
my big one.
I just finished this season of Top Gear, and holy shit. They did a 2.5-hour special where they tried to find the source of the River Nile in station wagons.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's
I need
incredible.
to come over.
It's incredibly good. These guys just kill it. They just constantly kill it. And there are shots. What's cool about this is they go to Africa, they drive around. They drive like 1,200 miles through Africa over like 2.5 hours.
What station wagons?
They had like a BMW, a Volvo, and a WRX, a Subaru WRX.
No Audi, because I love that Audi station wagon.
No, they picked that. It was one of the ones they had to spend like $1,500. Like they didn't get to spend that much money on it.
Well, it's always some cheap car. I mean,
but
we're going to go to Bethlehem and open top sports cars,
exactly.
or we're going to
like
go
Miata.
through Vietnam and Cambodia in a moped.
But what's amazing about this show is that they've gotten so good with their cameramen that there's shots in this that look better than Planet Earth. There are like these sprawling, super sexy HD shots on like steady cams hooked up in helicopters where they fly through the jungle, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is a car show, and they're beating out their own. They're cannibalizing their own nature shows. Like, it's crazy.
They're okay, but the thing is that Top Gear has always had the best cinematography since like season 3. I mean, season 1, 2, and 3 were pretty good, but from that point on, I think that they have changed the shape of cinematography hands down.
Yeah, I watch other nonfiction shows now, and I'm like, ugh, it looks okay. You know, like I've jaded myself, and I shouldn't be like that because really the other stuff is fine.
But Top Gear is so beautiful, you could watch it with the sound off.
Yeah, and the American Top Gear, they're
what is this American Top Gear that you speak of?
I still watch it because I love Top Gear. I still watch it. I don't love it as much, but I'm not going to.
You and your goddamn prequels and your American Top Gear.
Yeah, I'm a
fan. Get off my lawn.
I'm a fan.
Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who. But the American Top Gear is slowly getting better. Not there. I mean, it's like if they're going to take 10 more seasons to get as good as the British one, then that sucks. But
get off my lawn.
They're slowly getting better.
Get off my
lawn. Get off my lawn with Porsches and Bugattis and
I'm sorry. I think Fiskars. It's really hot.
The Fiskars. It's a recycled electric car.
I know, it's really hot. We saw one.
They don't like electric cars. That's right.
I like electric cars.
I just subscribed to Consumer Reports, and they have the 2003 car issue right now. So it's pretty
2003 or
2003.
2013.
2013. I mean,
What is the best car? Do they have?
no,
like,
I
a
don't.
best?
I didn't even look at what was the best car. I just checked out my car, and then they were like,
Almost
What did they
always-
say about your car?
"It's a piece of shit. It's unreliable. It's horrible. You hate it."
Oh, see, like
I
usually
love my car, so whatever.
you want the best car to be like an Audi A5 or something like that. The best car is usually like it's a Toyota. It's a Toyota Corolla. Sorry, every time. It's a
Yeah,
Honda.
I think it was. I think if I remember, I think the best car was something weird like that, like was that one car that everybody has, like a Toyota
Honda Civic or
Honda
something.
Civic
Yeah.
or something.
The thing is about those cars though is. There's a guy in my office. He has a Honda Accord, and it's decked out. He's got like all the screens and all that kind of shit.
He pimped my ride his car.
No, it's factory decked
What?
out. It's factory decked out, but he got like the highest end version with like the leather and the sunroof and all that stuff. I'm like, how much did you pay? He's like, oh, like $27,000. I'm like, okay, you know what? If you really don't care about the brand, you know what I mean, and like for vanity reasons, you can get a reliable car. Comfortable seats, leather interior, sunroof, GPS, like sweet sound system for a pretty decent price. You just got to be okay to be with that. You know what I mean? Like be okay with that because you know you can't actually go wrong with one of those cars either. You buy a Honda and you're like, oh, this thing's a piece of shit. It's like probably not going to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's why the Nissan GTR is a really amazing sports
That's
car,
the
and it
one I
never
want.
gets the respect that people that it should get. It's an amazing vehicle.
They hand make every engine, so every car has a different horsepower rating.
Really?
Yeah, so each engine and transmission is handmade by the same guy, and they sign it. And because of that, too, they kind of shrug. Some of the dealers won't fix the cars. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
For the Nissan GTR?
Yeah, the engines are handmade by one man each.
That's so hot.
It's so cool. I saw a guy that had one working at Treyarch, and I was just grilling him. I had him against the wall. I think he was uncomfortable. And I was like, is it fast? Does it drive? Like, does it have reverse? Just asking him the dumbest questions ever.
Can I touch it?
That's the car that Jeremy Clarkson actually got whiplash in from driving properly. Like, it was so fast around the corners. And they said they put, like, you know, like some sports cars have, like, the headlights that kind of turn?
Yep.
They said they tried to put it in the car, but this car can turn so fast the headlights couldn't keep up. I'm like, yes, please.
Here's other reviews. Compact hatchbacks. Volkswagen Golf was the best.
It always wins.
Sedans was the
I know.
Toyota Camry.
Yeah, see, it's always cars like that, though.
Large was the Chrysler 300 Limited V6.
No!
Wait, what?
Luxury sedans was the Infiniti G37 Journey.
sounds-
Midsize was the Audi A6.
But these,
Oh,
these
see, there you go, Audi.
Okay, I do like the Audi.
Large was the Lexus LS4.
I don't like the interiors on an Audi though.
They're kind of
They're a little.
they're
very German.
They're very German. They're very like. Whenever I sit in a lot of those cars, I kind of feel like I'm always sitting too low.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And it's not that I need a huge, giant like SUV. I don't like that. But like I always feel like they want to be so sporty that they purposely put you way down, and then maybe that's gangster or something like that. But I'm like, no, I want to see the road properly. I'm sorry.
Sports cars high performance was the BMW.
Of course, some BMW.
135i. Sporty cars was a Volkswagen GTI. Roadsters, Porsche Boxster. Convertibles was a Volkswagen EOS Lux.
Oh, that's like the only convertible that anyone ever buys now.
SUV was the Ford Escape.
So what was it? Huh? I got distracted by my phone.
Midsize was the Toyota Highlander.
See, they're most of them are pretty like.
Ugh.
Yeah, but for logical reasons. You know what I mean? It's one of those things for logical reasons.
Yeah. I want a car with madness though.
You know, the Top Gear
Alpha.
still thinks the GTI is the best sports car ever made in history, like overall, because it's just consistently good every year, and it's cheap. You know, for like under $30,000, you can get a fast car.
You know what I have a very specific fondness for is the old Datsun 80s hatchbacks.
Oh yeah,
I love a Datsun, man.
Datsuns are great.
They're just wonderful, and they have the ugliest colors that look spectacular.
Yeah, I love when you see like an old Datsun truck on the road, and it looks like it's like 35 years old. But if you look a little closer, I'm like, it's in like perfect condition. That thing is in perfect condition.
My dad had a Datsun truck. It was that car. It took such a beating. It was amazing. Anyway, we should probably talk about something else. Future food. Did you read the article that I sent you, Nick Ahrens, about this guy that thinks he's never going to have to eat again?
Yeah, I don't believe it.
You don't? How do you not believe it?
I don't know. Like, it's just like I get it. Like, I understand the idea behind it, but first of all, why would you not want to eat again?
I think because he probably has a mild form of Asperger's would be my guess.
But like cheeseburgers are so good.
So I read this article and I get it because sometimes I've been super busy and it's why I like doing juice fasts when I've got like a really crazy workload, because I don't have to think about what I'm putting in my body. I know that I'm putting in like straight, wholesome nourishment and I'm going to be good. And so I get that, if you're super busy and you just want something to pound to know that you can keep powering through whatever.
Right,
you're
like
doing.
a superfood.
Like a superfood. And I want it to work because, watching the first Matrix, they ate sludge. And if you lived on a spaceship, you would have to eat some sort of nutritious sludge.
Or space ice cream.
I don't like ice cream.
Astronaut ice cream.
I don't like ice cream.
It's not ice cream. It's like foam.
Makes me think of Lucky Charms, but it always comes in flavors I don't like.
Yeah.
Hey, space ice cream companies, can we get some better flavors?
Yeah, actually, you know what's funny? Some friends and I were reminiscing about space ice cream, so we got on the internet, ordered a bunch, and like 2 days later, we realized how completely horrible it is. It was disgusting.
I know, it's a poor choice. It's a very poor life choice.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the couple that might be going to space for the flyby of Mars?
Not on the air.
We haven't talked about this.
They've been working on this really hard.
Because it's completely it's not space, it's not government funded at all.
Right.
It's entirely for not commercial purposes.
For television. We're finally in what the 80s thought our time TV would be, like people going to space and like eventually we'll
it's
be
like
hunting
540
humans.
days that they're going to be in space together.
Well, originally too, weren't they? I read stories that there was like, oh, you're not coming back. Like when they first announced it, they're like, at that point, they were like, oh yeah, it's the one-way trip.
I would still sign up for that in a second.
You would just go.
I'm sorry, to go into space, you're like, I'm going to go out by going into space.
But I think in your lifetime, space is very achievable on a commercial.
But I'm going to be old, and I'm not going to be all like hot like the Bubblehead posters that are all over Los Angeles.
No, see, science will keep up with all of it.
Because I want to look like Barbarella when I'm 90. What? Why do I get silence for that? Who doesn't want to look like Barbarella for forever?
Do you want to look like 90-year-old Barbarella or Barbarella?
Both.
Because that's, I think, where the silence was. Because instantly my head was like, so is it a 90-year-old dressing like Barbarella?
No. Like, why can't I grow up and be Barbarella? All she does is fly around space, change outfits in her totally sweet shag carpet space machine. Ship. And have sex with hot dudes.
I mean, that's kind of
some
like
of them
the
with
ultimate...
sweet mustaches.
Some with sweet mustaches, yeah.
And then she wins the entire movie by out-pleasuring the pleasure machine. It's like the pleasure machine of death, and she wins it because she's so good at the sex thing.
I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid.
How? It's got Jane Fonda's 21-year-old nipples.
It does have Jane Fonda's 21-year-old nipples in it.
But anyway, so
like
back
50s?
to space travel. So they think that they may have found the couple that's going to do it because they want a married couple that's past childbearing age because they're afraid of them making a baby in space.
Yeah, because that could be crazy.
How do you think a space baby would be crazy? Do you think it would be disabled?
Yeah, because without the gravity, your muscles change. That's why the astronauts have spent most of their time working out on the space station because
baby would come out with like Jello.
It's atrophy. Like gravity is like part of the reason your muscles work the way they do.
Well, I know that part, but aren't they just floating in a juice?
Who knows?
For 9 months?
Maybe the baby would actually develop from scratch to live in space. You never know. But I don't know if evolution
maybe it's a
can
more
happen
pure form of humanity.
See, I'm thinking more it's going to
look... Star Child!
I think that baby would look like Jack
the man
Daniel's
who fell
ships.
to Earth.
The man who fell to Earth, yes. Or the Star Child from 2001.
And we've hit a wall. So I think that's our show. Has it been an hour? It's been an hour.
It's been over an hour,
It's over an hour. Muff Said. We'll be back on April 4th. Yeah. We'll be back on April 4th with Derek Robertson, the artist behind one of my favorite comic books of all time, Transmetropolitan. He'll be here
that's
in
a can't-miss
studio.
show. That is
It is a can't-miss show. And he's a talker.
Good.
We have had some conversation.
Good.
Yeah. It'll be amazing.
He's going to talk to our faces.
My name is Ryan Keely. Follow me on the Tumblr because